fish.
Hi everyone, 20th century is not the best time to talk about witches. Do you agree? This does not prevent the channel with all sorts of mystical stories from uploading videos about aliens, vampires, witches, and so on. Let's talk about the most famous legend in America associated with witches, Salem. But first I will tell you the legend itself in the style of these very channels that just tell you a terrible story. But I will have one difference. After that I will tell you the truth. The most famous witch hunt took place in the city of Salem, in New England. In 1692, about 200 people were convicted of witchcraft. 20 of them were executed. Young girls helped to find real witches and sentenced them to death themselves, because according to them they tried to lure them to the side of evil. This city still serves as a landmark and has been preserved almost in the same form. Anyone can see those creepy places and experience horror. So you listen to this story and you probably think, damn, it's scary. Witches were found, they were executed, the court itself issued a verdict. There are a bunch of movies, games, and series on this topic. And indeed, the 17th century and all handwritten records of the courts, all personal messages, they are all preserved. The girls at the trial really lay in seizures, and there they actually tortured and hung witches. All these are facts. But were people really witches and sorcerers?
Strong statement. I will certainly check it.
American town of Salem, in which everything is bad. Smallpox epidemic, no harvest, drought, severe frosts. Why do we have all these curses? They were saying, but as I already said in the issue about psychics, if people cannot explain something, they begin to come up with all sorts of paranormal. Of course they found the answer. Very religious people lived in Salem and they threw everything into the will of God. With God next to there is a devil. Where the devil is, there is Russian rap. And witches. In general, it all started with the fact that two little girls began to behave very strangely. They writhed, screamed in pain, plugged their ears if someone read a prayer. But you've seen it all in movies. It's all called demonic possession.
Holy shit.
Soon another girl starts to do all this. Daughter of a powerful man in the city. Local Dr. William Briggs looked at it, thought, and said,
No more words needed. These are perfectly standard symptoms of demonic possession. I advise you to search the whole city for witches. I know what I'm talking about. I'm a doctor. Our medicine is strong. We don't live in the 15th century after all.
I don't mean to say that the doctor is dumb. It was just the 17th century and people believed in witches. I wonder what kind of diagnosis this is. How was witchcraft treated at that time?
So we need the mustache of a moth, some of our own, a pinch of water, a teaspoon, a couple of swear words.
Suka! Suka!
Cook everything at a temperature of -10 degrees. And should be ready about 5 minutes ago. I forgot the deer poop. Can you give it please?
Damn, I left the moose shit. Will it fit?
Dreamer, we do not treat gastritis after all.
The doctor said they were possessed by the devil. Some of you are still complaining that they live in Russia. Yes, I am grateful to all higher beings, if they are, that I live now. This not normal. It's hellish. This is absurd. That's enough. These three girls started testifying in court. That one and that one, they are witches and they bewitched us. Absolutely everyone they pointed the finger and were not very nice people for the city. This is the first call. The first one didn't go to church. The second one was poor. The third was a slave. Fantastic wretched trio. It would be a good movie. Russian movie.
This is one of the films included in the package of experimental films. The experiment was obviously unsuccessful.
The girls got a taste and began to blame more and more people. Even a 4-year-old girl. Even a grandmother who could not get out of bed. It's a total mess. While interrogating this 4-year-old witch. Damn, that sounds funny. They told her, let's admit that you are a witch and we will let you go to your mother. She confessed. She wants to go to her mother. It's called manipulation.
Did you rape 200 people? Rob 3 banks, and steal an ice cream truck? Answer. And then we will give you candy.
What kind of candy?
Any kind of candy.
Everyone else didn't agree. Therefore, right during the trial, these girls began to twitch in convulsions and yell to execute them. They are killing us. They were executed. Amazing. In this city there was a complete patriarchy. This means that all girls should obey men. But now we see a completely opposite picture. These men are just being manipulated by some little kids. Any wrong word, any extra mole on the body, any strange attribute in clothes, all to be executed. It's witches. Really, I wouldn't wish my enemy to live in the 17th century. If you suddenly, inadvertently, quite by accident, unobtrusively, thought that these girls might be innocent, you will also go to jail. That's the rules. No one can argue with the court and the morons who sit there. Why morons? I will explain later. First, I'll show you how the girls blame people in all seriousness.
Who are you making accusations against?
It's definitely him. He is, I know.
Me? Are you kidding me? Certainly not. I would never do that.
Yeah, of course. You're denying everything.
I don't deny. Okay, I did this.
Yeah, you agreed.
Crap. Got me. God damn it. I mean, I didn't do anything. Shit.
Now it is of course called, there is simply no evidence. But I'll say it again. Crisis, superstitious people, someone must be held responsible. There is still such a person. In the city there lived a guy whose name was John Proctor. He was one of the few who had a brain there at all. He immediately realized that it was no obsession. He was always against the death penalty and punishment in general. His maid, Mary Warren, had seen enough of all this devilry that was happening in the city, and the same thing began to writhe, make all sorts of different sounds. John, as I said, was not stupid degenerates, and he just threatened her. Stop fooling around, otherwise I'll beat you up. The symptoms went away. Or vanished. Failed to become a witch, sadly. She so wanted. But she didn't give up. And when the owner didn't see, she went to court and testified against everyone in this fucking city, including her owners. What a scum she is. There is no other name for her. In the end, they hanged this John, who really did not believe in all this. They hung normal, healthy people. Only 10 people suffered from her accusations. 17th century justice is as dumb as... like a TV show about court.
Oh, you scum. Here you are, scum.
Why was she pretending? Why did she blame everyone? Who the hell knows? There are no answers to these questions at all. Or maybe the girl was initially just pretending to be. They just didn't know how it could turn out. Someone pretended, someone repeated it. In the end, they all hung anyway. Finished the game. There were no other games. Salem was founded by the Puritans. They are extremely strict people. They even ban children's toys because it's useless. If toys are taken away from children, they will still find something to play with. I'll enchant you. No, I'll bewitch you. I will sue you and you will be hanged. I already did this 2 hours ago. That's how funny we are in Salem. Cheating, laughing constantly like horses, it's a shitty way to die. A very revealing incident happened to the priest George Burroughs. He was blamed by a girl whose family he owed money, but it is not important. He was sentenced to death, of course, without a single piece of evidence. And during the execution of the sentence, something amazing happened. Standing at the gallows, he completely read the prayer without hesitation. And what's so amazing about that, you ask? But the fact that, as the court itself claimed, the servants of Satan cannot read a prayer. He's standing reading, and people like...
He was able to read the prayer. Release him immediately.
They are right. He read the prayer in full. Let's let him go.
What would I say? Read the prayer in reverse. What? You can't? Yeah.
Hang him.
Yes, a priest was hanged who owed money to an important person. Hanged without a single proof and contrary to their own laws. And all because the little girl just pointed her finger at him. The most interesting ahead. How did this whole story end? Governor William Phipps, who actually appointed this same court in 1692. A year later he closes it and says, it was a mistake. And then the judges apologized. They say, well, yes, we screwed up. We didn't have to listen to those girls. It happens to everyone. Wow, what good guys. They finally realized that people were not to blame. Hey you! You hanged 20 people, accused 200 of being witches and sorcerers. 17th century. How could I not want to live at that time?
Even in the neighborhood next to such places, it's hard to live.
1957, Massachusetts officially apologized for the morons who wanted to play witches and inquisitors. In 1992, they erected a monument where all those who died from this witchcraft hysteria are listed. In 2001, the governor of the state officially declared that all the accused were innocent. But I hope that's clear. The girl who accused the priest in 1706 officially admitted that he was not guilty. Just the devil persuaded her and forced to complain about him. And a dozen other people. Everyone is so cute. People are dropping like flies. They say, sorry, you can't put sorry in your pocket. In fact, you can't put anything in your pocket. 250 years have passed. But at least in 1711, all the families of the dead were paid monetary compensation for the mistake. The opinions of historians and scientists agree on one. 2 girls who lived in the same house started it all. The rest just got caught up in this epidemic of stupidity. Maybe there was some kind of political connotation in all this. Maybe revenge. Not completely clear, but recent research by Peter Grund has established that a man named Thomas Putnam himself wrote all these statements on behalf of the girls themselves. He was also a court clerk, and he certainly knew that if these witches were recognized, he could take their property. One person did not want to confess, and everyone was so pissed off that they started torturing him. They put huge stones on his body to squeeze a confession out of him. He was a real man and didn't do it. On the contrary, he asked me to add more stones in order to die faster. He just wanted his farm to remain his grandson's. Even besides the recognition of that girl, there are other scientific explanations. Huntington's disease, or encephalitis lethargica. These diseases cause symptoms that are 100% similar to the same obsession. Body twisting, eye rolling, shouting out incomprehensible words. Such a hell of a set. Then the doctors, of course, did not know how to treat it, but simply cast out demons. So obviously it doesn't help. But that's a completely different story. These are very terrible diseases, but they did not apply to the girls from Salem. They quite calmly testified, and only when something went wrong did seizures begin. All you need to know, the confession was, all the people accused are innocent. The court found it illegal. There is no evidence that witches once existed in this city. The worst thing in this story is not the devil, not witches, but people. People who, out of stupidity or by calculation, can do this to innocent people. It's really scary. Take my word for it. Better check for yourself. All links are below the video. Always check. Don't be the herd that really believe in all these videos about 5 mystical places and all that. I would like to believe that there will be no more witch hunts. But due to recent events, when any person from the internet, any Russian blogger can be put in jail for some kind of statement. Hard to believe. Subscribe to the channel if you can afford that luxury.
I don't know why everyone around decided that. I'm involved in this shit at all. You know what a thing. If I were in this city, there would be nothing left of it. Everyone would die. What is the output? All witches are bitches.